So then I started getting messages from people saying, "Kid, like you're hip to what's going on here. Why aren't you saying anything? You have a platform." And I was on my like probationary, be a good boy time period. And then it got to the point where you start not liking yourself. It was the love of my life, really. So I was doing my dream job.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And by the end of the 11 minutes, my boss's face was squished up against the little soundproof door.
Wow.
And he just casually opened the door and said, "Do you want to maybe join me in my office when you're done here?" I'm like, "Yeah." Now I look back and there's maybe some regret. Maybe I could have played the game a little more.
What does that mean to you?
Maybe I could have been, people knew where I stood. Maybe I didn't have to, I don't know. The point is I have 2 kids, wife and 2 kids at the time. Yeah, and it was, I don't think I realized how big the fallout would be at first.
Is it that everything's basically squabble, so even if I felt compelled, I wouldn't do it? Or is there an unconscious or maybe conscious part of you that's like, I don't want to fucking poke the bear, so I'm just not going to poke it, and I'm going to keep my truth to myself, even if I feel compelled to speak into the squabble?
And I think it would be, you're full of them. I would say that when you start to not like yourself inside, that's when I feel like, okay, I feel really unaligned with like my actions and my thoughts.
Kid Carson is one of Canada's most recognizable media personalities, a longtime radio host who was fired for speaking up about COVID, and now the host of The Kid Carson Show. His stance is clear. Telling the truth, no matter the cost, is the only path to freedom. I agree, but here's where it gets tricky. Questioning the mainstream has a price. Sometimes it costs your career, your reputation, even your sense of safety. But if every narrative, mainstream or alternative, can still become a cage, then what's the real measure of freedom? So today we're asking, what's the price of being you in a world that punishes nonconformity? And is that the price of the ultimate path to awakening, or is that just another trap? Welcome, Kid Carson, to the Spiritual Debate Podcast.
You win. I concede.
Oh, yeah?
Your intro, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Maybe it's not worth it. She makes some good points, right?
This was the fastest episode we've ever done.
Thank you for... Okay. Are we sitting in the right spot? Because you already you were saying maybe I looked too...
You're giving...
Like posed
you're
or
not the host this time.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm never the interviewee.
I know.
I'm always the interviewer.
I know,
3,000
I love it.
interviews, 20 years, and I've only ever done this a couple of times. So it is...
So what makes me so special? Tell me.
Right.
And go on.
Well, you were on my podcast, and we just jammed.
Okay, so now everyone who's been on your podcast is going to ask now that you'll be on there.
You can cut this part out, though, right?
Yeah, okay, we'll cut this part out.
Yeah, he can do that, yeah. No, you're an amazing person.
Appreciate it.
And the cool thing about podcasts, as you know, is that you get to dive in with someone for like an hour or so.
Yeah.
Which is so far different than my radio days where it was like 4 or 5 minutes to interview an author about a book. And then, so to dive in, we've already been down the road on totally different topics about you.
Yeah.
So now I guess we're talking about me, which is, I'll be honest, it's a little uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, if I think about discomfort, I think about my episode with you and how I went all the way in with you. And it's very rare. We talked about how I put demons in a freezer. I talked about how, well, we were kind of laughing about the psychic when you had your face in the massage cushion and she was like, "Kid, I have a message for you." We went in. So I feel like it's only fair that you're uncomfortable in my pod.
Yeah, that's when I learned that my massage therapist was a psychic.
Yeah.
She told me when my face was like this. "Kid, I have a message for the universe for you." And I went, "Okay." And like, I'm just staring at her feet, and I'm like, "Tell me, lay it on me." But yeah, we went to all those wild places.
I know. Now that you're on my pod, I can say, don't ever fucking do that again, kid. Don't ever go see a massage therapist who then tells you a message from the universe so unethically. And let's let our listeners know that you kept going back. It wasn't just like, wow, that was amazing. You started to need messages from the universe.
Yeah. I did start to feel like that was the first time in my life I actually believed in those movies when they have a character that comes out with a bowl of chicken bones and they shake it and they go, "Attack on a Tuesday, we will be victorious." And you always think, oh, why are you ruining the show with that? And then I met this woman who told me things that were unbelievable. Yeah. And for the first time ever, I thought, oh my God, there's actually people with this skill.
Yeah.
It was like, you always hope you're going to see an alien so you can believe in it.
True.
That was my moment where I'm like, oh, I'm experiencing something here. Now, I didn't have the foresight that we talked about, which was well, who is this person channeling?
Yeah.
To me, I was just amazed that there was someone who could do this.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me things about me that no one would ever know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm living and I'm learning. But you gave me a lot of things to think about on that podcast.
Did I really?
Yeah, of course.
Well, you got to listen to
Yeah.
the pod if you guys haven't listened to the Kid Carson Show, because that was a really good episode. And just because you're on mine, I was allowed to give you shit about it. Otherwise, I was like, oh, kid, you shouldn't do that. Now you're on mine. I'm like, what the fuck?
Great. Well, I'm sure I'll be taking off my sweater in a couple minutes.
And now we're sweating.
Stay cool.
So I want to start with this. If I was a fly on the wall, or I was a listener on the radio on the day you spoke up about COVID and you got fired, what did you say to the world that caused you to lose your job? Of 20 years, by the way.
It was very mild.
Really?
Comparison
to who?
Comparison to the truth. It was like a very vanilla, breakdown of all the things that the news was reporting. It was just, we were all watching Instagram Live, streaming, watching the protests and seeing those great Canadians who were just like loving each other and handing out food to each other and playing ice hockey on the streets. And yeah, it was loud. Yeah. Horns are loud, but you couldn't have got a more Canadian type of protest. It was very peaceful in all different walks of life, different backgrounds, didn't matter who you were. Everyone was together. So we're all watching that on Instagram Live and different, independent media sources. But then you tune into the mainstream media that's being funded by the Liberal government, and you're seeing a story about how it's a racist event and all these negative things. And so it had obviously been building up for quite some time, the months leading up. And I'd spoken it a little bit on the air, and it was pretty loud on Instagram with some of the things, the mandates, the lockdowns, the shutting down of small businesses, the forcing people to get the jab, whether or not you had a preconceived or existing condition in your body. Like, there was just, it was nuts. I couldn't take my son to go see the Spider-Man movie. I snuck him in.
Yes, you
But
did.
the point is, we weren't allowed to go. And you have to explain this to your kids. We can't go to a restaurant. So I'd been a little bit vocal about that.
Okay, but mostly on Instagram at that time and a little bit on the air, but not significant.
Enough to get some warnings.
Okay.
Like, we're a big Zoom call with the head president in Toronto, and I was very nervous because it's my livelihood. But then when the actual convoy happened in Ottawa, that's sort of when you just feel like you're going to be on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
And people knew because of things I'd said or hinted at or loudly posted on Instagram that where my stance was.
Yeah.
So then I started getting messages from people saying, kid, like, you're hip to what's going on here. Why aren't you saying anything? You have a platform. And I was on my probationary, be a good boy time period. And then it got to the point where you start not liking yourself.
Yeah.
So, and I love radio so much. It was the love of my life, really. I just wanted to be on the radio since I was a kid. So I was doing my dream job.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So to say something, it was because I was feeling sick with myself.
Yeah.
And at that point, we didn't know where it was going to lead to. Everything sort of calmed down until the next weird thing that happens. But you sort of feel like in the moment, this is the beginning of something that's going to escalate and escalate and escalate. And is anyone going to say something? And no one in mainstream media was saying anything.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, to this day, if the radio station had have embraced not just an opposing view, but a balanced view of like, hey, let's have some people on the air to debate mask mandates or whatever it is, it was the biggest thing happening in our lives.
Yeah.
They would have been number one.
Totally.
And they would have got massive respect, no matter what the right answer was, but just to have open conversations about it.
Yeah.
Because it was really just one-sided.
It was all one-sided.
Oh, and we were told, you can only say something on the air about COVID that the CBC has said. And we were told that.
Wow.
So we had to just be parrots for the CBC, who were just being parrots for the government at the time. So it just felt so icky. And of course I didn't want to lose my job, but I also didn't want to be a fake ass shill.
Especially not for your children either. I'm sure there's a part of that where it's like, I want to teach my children to be brave, to be courageous, to follow their truth. So I'm sure there's a part of it of like, if I'm out here being a cowardice, how is that imparting what I maybe want my boys to learn, what I want my kids to learn, if I'm not fully being in integrity? But you didn't answer my question. So what did you actually say on the air?
Oh, well, it was 11 minutes long.
You were talking that whole time
Yeah, it was
about this,
it was about 11 minutes, yeah.
okay.
And by the end of the 11 minutes, my boss's face was squished up against the little soundproof door.
Wow.
If you've ever been in a recording booth, they don't have a lot of windows, and they're thick. And so there's a tiny window, kind of like my squishy face psychic story. His face was like this, looking into I could see him. And he just casually opened the door and said, "Do you want to maybe join me in my office when you're done here?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Do you remember that old movie, The Jerk, with Steve Martin?"
Of course not.
It's a classic. No?
No.
It's a really old movie. I saw it when I was a
I
kid.
was born in 94.
But there's a scene when, Jesus Louise, there's a scene where he's like leaving and he's grabbing all his things. And that was like me. I was grabbing my headphones. I'm like, this is my favorite pen. This is my notepad that I love. And I walked down to his office with all my things. It was very tame. Like, I'm trying to remember exactly what I said, but it was something to the point of, if you think that the convoy in Ottawa right now is a racist movement, you have been like terribly misled. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
And then I talked a little bit about, there's a whole movement happening now where they're going to get us on a digital currencies and they'll have total control over everything you do because people's bank accounts were getting shut down.
Oh yeah.
Right. That was a thing. So there were there's one story of a mother who donated $20 because she thought, she saw like they're standing up for like me and I'm in small town, Alberta, like I want to donate. And she got her bank account frozen. So like when that stuff starts happening, it gets really terrifying.
Yeah.
And we move into a digital currency, which they're moving us into. If you do show up somewhere and you're on facial recognition and you or say the wrong thing in a comment online, like boom, your bank account's frozen. Remember there were different things that happened during that time when you weren't allowed to book a hotel room in Whistler.
You couldn't? I didn't know that.
No, yeah, because your license had to say, I'm not within like 5 or 15 kilometers of here.
Oh, I didn't know.
You had to stay in your zones.
Oh, I went to fucking Mexico
Yeah.
and Hayden and I got destroyed on social media. It was like end of 2020. So like the pinnacle where everyone thought that COVID was like a real thing that was like not manufactured.
Yeah.
And we traveled to Mexico and the amount of online hate, that was the first time I'd ever experienced online hate. Hayden was an influencer. His platforms had grown to like well over 500,000 in COVID time. So basically like in a 6-month time span. And influencers from all over the world were like, these people are dangerous. Like you shouldn't be connected with them. Like they want to kill the world. And I remember how jarring that was for my nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that time was a traumatic experience for me. I'm curious what your thoughts were about that. I was pretty vocal as well. And it was not nearly to the degree that some other people were, but I had, from the beginning, I started with something as simple as like one article about Donald Trump. Now, this is not a political podcast, but I did say something to the effect of like, they both suck. And everyone was like, you just came out as gay to the internet. Like, how dare you ever say anything positive about Donald Trump? And I lost all of my classmates that I went to school with because I used to be a professional performer. So these are all liberal, I want exclusivity while I'm the most judgmental person in the room. And I lost all my friends. And that coupled with that influencer experience from traveling, I thought, I don't know, is the risk of truth worth it, or should we just plead the fifth and let it go?
Wow. Yeah, the bonus was we got a fast track to seeing who the real
100%.
ride or dies were.
Yeah.
And
how strong people's fear was. I say that however many masks somebody had was how much fear they actually held in their consciousness. So when you saw someone who wore like the one mask plus like the big beak one who's in their car by themselves.
The beak one.
I'm like, who are you afraid of? Like, I think you're afraid of yourself. And that is traumatizing. That is so sad. That makes me sad. Yeah. You know which one I'm talking about though? Like the. Oh
yeah, it's a good visual. It's a good theater of the mind. The beak.
It's the Daisy Duck for me. So you got fired right after. You went into the office. You already knew you picked up your favorite pen. And you went into the office. Thank you, kid. You're complete here. How did that go?
They're very kind. And I mean, yeah, the people that I worked for, they weren't, I think they're also in fear.
Yeah.
They're fear of the bottom line. They're fear of backlash from sponsors. And, it's just too bad that radio that I've loved my whole life has just become, it's a business, obviously, like everything else. It's got to make money. And, but usually the business side of it would always stay in the back office.
Yeah.
But now it just, the last handful of years, it's gone on the air as well. So there's no one taking risks. There's no one stirring the pot.
Yeah.
Getting people, and you're competing against Instagram and everything else. Like it was a bad time for radio to take their foot off the gas. It's just very vanilla and very safe. And people who read the little call now to win a slice of pizza, you know, like where is all the dynamic conversation now has moved over to digital.
Yeah.
So, and radio is a medium I love. I just wish and hope that they're able to bring back some of that, what radio was. And they should have supported me and said, hey, listen, he's a personality.
Yes.
It's not like I've never been controversial in my career.
Yes.
Although I've talked a lot about relationships and cool deep topics and interviewed really cool authors and done a lot of charity work, I still always had like, you know, the conspiracy stuff I'd pepper in once in a while. Like every September 11th, I'd always be like, it's an inside job. Good morning, everybody. You know, so they knew what they were getting.
Yeah.
But this is the first time ever in my life that I had a boss who didn't appreciate that. And didn't love the stirring of the pot. They were like, I'm the first time I got in trouble, I just made fun of people who wore masks that matched their blazer, like leopard print and a leopard print blazer. And like, it was like a fashion thing and like boutiques were selling this. And I'm like, this is in the early days. I'm like, this is supposed to be a life-saving like emergency. Like, why are you wearing like matchy? It was, and I got in trouble for that.
You did?
Well, some Karen wrote an email saying that kid's dangerous and that's a new thing. He's dangerous. And I got pulled into the office. I'm like, whoa, I've never experienced this ever in my life.
And the funny part is that it's actually not fucking funny. And that happened everywhere. I got off a cruise ship on the day the world shut down. And I went to Lululemon to go pick up a jacket because they lost my luggage from the Caribbean to the frigid cold of March in Toronto. And I get to Lululemon and I'm like this happy-go-lucky person. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in the world? Why is everybody fighting over toilet paper? I have no idea. We were just doing like little temperature checks, but we weren't exposed to the mainstream narrative where it's like, there is this coronavirus outbreak. We didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
And so I go to Lululemon, I do some shopping, and one of the people pulled me aside and they're like, you have truly made our day. This is our last day of our job here today. And your kindness has just, like, it's helped us so much. Thank you. I remember leaving being like, what the fuck was that about? Like, that's so weird. And then shortly after that, you know, my parents were like, you know, we're compromised. So if you want to come home, you need to wear a mask. And I remember being like, I knew in my body that they were off their rockers. I knew that whatever they thought it wasn't. And at the time, I couldn't even explain why. And I'm curious your thought about that. Did you, from the jump, know exactly what COVID was and maybe it was like an intuitive thing? Or did you know that it was a scheme and you had evidence to back it and you leveraged that? Like, what was your process?
Oh, the first 2 weeks I was wearing blue rubber gloves and
Really?
like Lysoling the groceries. Oh yeah. I was a sucker like everyone else.
Oh, see, I never was a sucker.
Yeah, but only for 2 weeks. And then
Well, it did take 14 days to flatten the curve, apparently, so you flattened your curve.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
I did my part. And then I just, you know, you have this moment where you're like, you start seeing more stuff online, and then you look down and you're wearing blue rubber gloves, and you go, what the what am I doing? And like some people, you go to like Whole Foods or something, and they're wearing like the full,
Stop.
like with the thing, you know, like a nuclear like reactor.
People were wearing the thing?
Oh yeah, I saw a couple of people like that. And like people were lined up, like, remember there was like tape on the ground. You had to stay
in your X.
Oh, and in a grocery store, you had to follow the arrow. Like all this, it suddenly all just hit me. And I'm like, okay, this is like insanity. Yeah. Right?
I can imagine it just being like this slow.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And even I was like hip to like all the games the government plays.
Yeah.
You know? And I was just sucked into it too. And like the whole like clanking your pots for the nurses.
Oh.
Outside of your balcony. And then you skip ahead a little bit of time and they just fire all those nurses. And it's like
6 months later, where are the nurses?
And now a couple years later, we have commercials saying, have shortages of nurses. Apply now. I'm like, this is absolute insanity. How does no one see this? But yeah, I quickly got on board that this was insanity. And yeah, you find all that stuff. You go down the rabbit holes and you find that it was like pre-planned ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, if you still believe it was the real deal right now, you're not going to believe what I'm saying, but most of you, I think, are probably hip to the game.
I mean, if you're watching the Spiritual Debate podcast and you think COVID was real, I don't know. Maybe we need to have a debate about that because,
Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty clear that.
So what was the question again? Was I a crazy person or did I have proof?
Yeah, that was I think that was the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew, once you know, you can't unsee it.
Yeah. But you drank the Kool-Aid and then you were like, oh, this was actually poison.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Do you regret it? Getting fired, speaking up, even though it was vanilla 5 years later?
Do I regret it? I think if you're not, like I worked with a life coach years ago and we talked about the importance of like self-expression, like just being self-expressed. Because it takes so much energy to not be yourself. Like this takes a lot of energy and you can walk around like a fake person all day and then collapse at night and be like, huh, you know? So for me being self-expressed, I just felt so much lighter.
Yeah.
It was like 1,000 pounds. Now I look back and there's maybe some regret. Maybe I could have played the game a little more.
Okay.
You know?
What does that mean to you?
Maybe I could have been, people knew where I stood. Maybe I didn't have to, I don't know. The point is I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
You know? Wife and 2 kids at the time. Yeah, and it was, I don't think I realized how big the fallout would be at first.
Yeah.
Like, I was so focused on the positives. Like, instantly I found my tribe. You know, I met people that I'd known then for just a few weeks, and it's like, I feel like I've known you for 5 years. Their values just align. We're honest, we're self-expressed, we see what's going on, we're not afraid to say something about it.
Or be near each other.
Or be near each other. Yeah, I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
So,
do you still do that? Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Get in here.
Right. And so, like, it was just like people who just saw through all the fog.
Yeah.
And like, okay, that's great. And I had so many people that I thought were those types of people who just fell off.
Yeah.
Couple close friends. I'm like, wow, you don't see this. Now I have friends who of all different beliefs and backgrounds. And hey, I think you have to have different personalities and people and viewpoints in your field, or else you just become like in a bubble. So that's cool. But at the time, it was pretty harsh to lose your gig.
Yeah.
And like, you just can't buy your kids all the Pokemon cards that they want for a while. We're like, we're going to dial back in the Pokemon packs for a little while until daddy gets things figured out. So there is that. Yeah. You know? So it's a double-edged sword. But I will say it's been amazing, even these years later, because we're in 2025 now.
Yeah.
4 years later, I still get messages and people coming up to me and were like, you were one of the ones that said something, and I wasn't clearly the first, but maybe they were in the car that day and they heard it and it made a difference for them. So I think it was just meant to, and outside of that, like I'd wanted to start a podcast forever.
Oh, really?
And I hadn't. I knew that it was the future. And sometimes the universe just gives you a little flick to get you on that path. So so it's worked out.
So it's worked out. And maybe there would have been 1 degree shifts that you would have made in terms of people already knew where you stood. So maybe you wouldn't stand there and say, look at me, this is where I stand. But ultimately, it was worth speaking up about your truth. Because, I mean, could you imagine if you would have stayed on the air with all of the other things that have rolled out up until like today? Like, I think where we are now, there's so much that's still happening. It's just different narrative about the wars in the world, about the assassinations of the world, about ChatGPT, people killing themselves because ChatGPT told them to kill themselves. Like, the fascination is still there in this outsourcing of power and the way that, I don't know, we could talk like the shadow government or demonic forces or whatever have you, these control structures on planet Earth are speaking through these things. It's still there. I can't imagine if you were still on the air in this time of evolution.
It would have been very hard.
Yeah, because like you said, self-expression is exhausting.
It would have been a lot of just giving away slices of pizza and movie passes and be caller 9 and request a song. It would have been a lot of that. They probably wouldn't let me say much more. But it's like mainstream media, I think, has like a responsibility to reflect different viewpoints.
100%.
And they do that with the types of people that they hire. So if you look on TV, they always have people of different backgrounds. So when you tune in, you always feel like there's someone you can see yourself in. I remember growing up watching Much Music.
I love
it was like a formula.
Yes.
They always had like the funny white guy and then the cool black guy and then, you know, the punk rocker dude, right, George. And then they had like the redhead, and then when one of them got fired, they always replaced him with the same
Type.
of person, the blonde. So they had one of every different type of visually looking person. So I'm like, I grew up knowing, okay, that there is this going on, and it's good for people. But then there's no like array of different viewpoints.
Yeah.
So we're just putting different types of looking people.
Yeah.
But we're not putting people with different viewpoints. Like, why can't you say, oh yeah, the morning host on that show thinks that masks are stupid.
Yeah.
The afternoon show, the guy with the Australian accent is like all in. He's got 7 boosters. Like, whatever. Do what you want.
And literally had a stroke in his kitchen, and he's 35 in perfect health. But we'll leave that for
I
later.
think he's healthy. He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
but,
for now.
But you know what I mean? Why is there no like range of like viewpoints?
Well, why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's money.
Okay.
They're getting funding from different people.
Yeah.
I think it's a big part of it. But for me, I just felt like if you think you see something that's not right, and there's no one representing that viewpoint anywhere,
Yeah.
you can start to like feel like you're a crazy person. Like if you're looking at stuff on Instagram Live and you're watching the protests and you're watching people who are reporting live from the ground, and it's this like beautiful thing where we're standing up for, bodily autonomy and do what you want to do, but then you turn on like the news and you watch your radio station or your favorite TV news program or whatever, and like it's completely painting the picture of this is like this group of hooligans and they're trying to take over the government and it's awful. You would feel like you'd feel gaslit. Like you just feel like, and I felt like that too. I'm like, maybe, am I crazy? Like, am I just like, because I think 9/11 was an inside job, now do I think everything is like a hoax? Like,
so true.
You have to really like go inside your mind. And so for me, once I knew like, no, this is BS what's happening.
Yeah.
And no one was saying anything. I just thought about at least my own audience who's driving in the car, who maybe feel like they're crazy. Like they feel like how I do, but they are feeling crazy.
Yeah.
And so to say something and have that person go, and yeah, maybe most people think that I'm now the crazy person, but the person who feels like they're crazy but they're not is listening going, oh my God, that's what I think. And someone finally said it.
Yeah. And
so that sort of rationale overtook any of the sort of self-preservation that I should have.
But the truth is I really feel that I believe that we all have an intuitive connection. And even the most masked, distanced, mainstream news person that could ever be still knew it was bullshit. Like I think about someone like my dad who's like, oh, I watch the news. No, it's just so fucking bullshit. But, like they say this, that. Like I know that it's corrupt, but. And I wonder, I think about, well, why don't you just stop fucking watching the news, my guy? Or why don't you just stop giving your power to this? And when I try to put myself in his shoes, or I put myself in my shoes when I woke up, I think about how heartbreaking it is to wake up and realize how messed up this reality is. And how it could be possible that something like 9/11 could be an inside job. I'm like, how could somebody be so evil? How could a group of people, for something as man-made as money, allow something like that to happen? And I think that's where that spiral, I think about how we watched Charlie Kirk, whether people believe that was real or not, whatever, publicly get assassinated. And I think about how I completely disassociated. I couldn't stop watching it, but I couldn't be in my body while I was watching it. And then you go to the next video and it's like 2 golden retrievers running through a field playing. And then you go to the next one and like, oh, look at those beautiful relationships. And I think about the fact that I was disassociated because I literally couldn't face that truth and receive it because it was too heartbreaking. And so I wonder with people in the world, 2025, but even before that, how many people just know the fucking truth and it's too heartbreaking to accept it because then their entire reality shatters, but then also having to face how painful the reality of the world that we're actually living in is. I think sometimes it's easier to say ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, there's a mourning process.
There's, the grief.
My grief happened years previous to that.
Previous to you speaking up?
Yeah, previous to COVID.
Okay.
Like just like the 9/11 era,
that
was sort of a wake up thing for a lot of us. When you watch the documentaries and you know, there's always there's always crazy stuff out there.
Yeah.
It's not like I just watch everything and just believe everything. Take everything with a grain of salt. But over the course of years, you connect the dots and realize that, wow, this reality is not what we think it is. Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
No, you were speaking about how you could put the dots together that 9/11 was an inside job, and how ultimately there's a grieving process to this awakening process of realizing what reality is.
Yeah. And I do have days where I wish I just didn't know.
Totally.
I wish I didn't even see between the lines of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Because life would be so much. I have friends who are just like, happy-go-lucky. I'm like, I actually enjoy hanging out with them because they're oblivious to all of it. And
well, they're complaining about their job, not about like the overlords of the world that are like framing situations to make it seem like something that it's absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, I remember when my youngest son was maybe about 3 or 4, and we're laying down playing Lego, like laying on our stomachs on the floor and just like having this like fun little moment. I'm complaining about how my back hurts quietly to myself. But I had this moment where I'm thinking about Justin Trudeau. This is obviously back in the day. And I'm just like having this monologue in my head of how pissed off this motherfucker. And then I snap. I have a moment. I'm like, I'm laying on the floor playing Lego with my son. I have 2 older kids who, like, I know that stage doesn't last very long. Yeah. I'm wasting this time thinking about some politician. I'm like, and I had to like slowly step back and go, okay, I cannot. Yeah, there's going to be negative stuff happening in the world all the time, whether it's political or false flags or weird laws or like, money stuff and like. Okay, am I going to spend my human experience like obsessing over that? Give me a break. I'm here with my son. We're playing Lego. This is a memory that I'm going to have like saved in my head when I'm 80, and I'm going to just do anything just to have this moment back. And I'm thinking about numbnuts in Ottawa. What am I doing here?
Isn't it fascinating though?
Yeah. So like now, like there's like a lot of buildings that have a little TV screen, and they have like the news. Some of the buildings
like
now
in the
downtown.
Elevators too, sometimes.
Yeah, you get and push your button and you look up. They have a little screen. It's like this, and it's always just like. The news headlines, and it's always bad news.
Always.
It's like this person got hit by a car, this person's dead. Even if there's a slow news day, they find something like box of kittens found abandoned on the highway in Abbotsford. That's a real thing one morning. Yeah, it's like the global news thing. So now whenever I get in the elevator and there's like my neighbors are on there, I'm like, hey, you want to catch up on the bad news of the day? Like, ha ha ha. But I try not to look at that screen.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why are you going to fuck with my vibe, man? I'm just starting my day. I'm heading to the studio to do an interview or something. So you have to be discerning about the energy that you're taking on. So it's I keep my pulse on it, but like I'm not obsessed with it like I was.
I think that's a good way to be though. I don't think that we want to be delirious or delusional to the fact that there are very real stories that we do need to stay plugged into. And I tend to use them like anchors, like, okay, that happened. Okay, good. That's good to know. We're growing, the collective is evolving. I always try to look at like how big mainstream things, how it changes the way that people talk to each other. Right now, it's not looking very good, but that's actually a positive thing because I think that what I love about the spiritual debate is that most people in today's day and age are like, okay, here's my stance. I'm yellow. You're green, right? There's no room.
I wanted to be yellow.
This is not the conversation for that. Fine. This is like, I need to cancel green out of the Roy Jabiv of the rainbow because this is my truth. But also, let's not forget the fact that I'm also like praying for everybody to have truth and peace and equality. And that's what we see a lot in the world right now. It's like your truth, and there's not even like versus your truth. It's just my truth. And if you have a different truth, we need to cancel you, even though there is spectrum to truth. And every nuance comes from someone's lived experience, conditioning, past lives, and current life experience. And I hope that we get to more of that. And I see that when people are like this, no that. It's like, I hope that we get to a world where we're like, what does left or right even mean? Like left hand, right hand? Like, can we get there instead of like you're part of this party, that party, this belief, that belief, this religion, that religion? So I'm curious, what are some of your stances on that? Do you just walk the narrow? Where do you stand in the world of belief systems?
Can I quickly add something to what you just said?
Do it.
Which is, like in real day-to-day life, Do you ever see any of this shit happening?
No.
Like, I don't know anyone who's actually seen any of this shit happening. We're only seeing it on Instagram.
True.
And on TV and the news and in movies.
Hey there, it's me, V. So, as you can imagine, this is my first podcast. And so I'm learning all of these new ropes. And did you know how important ratings were? I didn't. I had absolutely no idea. And I'm so thankful for the support of my team for reminding me of how important having your ratings, your honest reflection of the podcast, how much that benefits us. So, I'm that annoying person in the middle of everyone else's episodes that I fast forward that hopefully you're listening to right now. And if you've got 30 seconds, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could take a moment and just rate this podcast, give it a thumbs up, share it with your bestie that you want to go head to head with so we can continue to spread this message, debate about the truth, find what the truth is, and have the kinds of conversations that truly help us awaken in integrity. All right. Back to the episode.
And I'm like, if you want to get really crazy, like, is it even happening?
Yeah.
Because all the people I know, and I know a lot of different types of people, there's just love and respect between everyone, no matter who you are.
Yep. So true.
So it's just funny that we're only seeing it on our screens, not in real life.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get crazier,
Bring it.
just for a minute? But now we have easy access to AI. We can make fake videos of everything.
Yep.
Once it's in the hands of the peasants, like it's a toy on our phone. It's literally a toy on our phone.
Yeah.
$3.99 a month. I can like make me like posing in Greece on a yacht somewhere just by uploading a crappy selfie from my bathroom. Like we can make anything. So if it's once it's a toy on your phone, it's been in the hands of the industrial military compact.
Yeah.
Industrial, it's a hard word to say. Plus I have a nicotine pouch on my lip. I knew it would get me.
Spill the beans.
I knew it would get me. It's hard to talk with the
We
military.
just thought you had a lisp.
It's the military industrial complex has had it for 30 years. Right? They've had it for 30 years.
Yeah.
Who knows how advanced it really is? And what we're even seeing on TV is reality.
Yeah.
I know that's going all the way, but I think there's a mixture of
I
like
agree.
the world's a stage and they have, I think some of what we're seeing is like not even real.
Yeah.
To paint this picture in our minds, in our consciousness, that we are divided.
Yeah.
I don't think we're that really divided. I think we're
So
all
true.
loving people, you know?
It's so true. You think about anyone, we'll be driving down the street and there's an old lady and she looks like she's struggling. I don't know. Well, I know some people. I'm not one of those people who is not like, should we stop? Do you think she's okay? You know, like I think it's human nature to care about other humans. It's just, I totally agree with you that what we're seeing in the keyboard warrior era.
Bots.
Yes. And I doubt the people who are the loudest would probably be like, hey, kid, how are you? It's so good to see you. Like, you want to come over for Thanksgiving? Like, they would never be like, this is actually what I'm saying behind the keyboard. I don't think people have that kind of strength.
I don't know anyone who attacks people in comments.
No, me neither.
It's sort of like it's a loser thing to do.
It's such a loser thing to do.
And yeah, there are losers and there are bad people, but they're peppered in.
Yeah.
I don't think this giant wave of like two groups of evil people or the other, everyone thinks the opposite side's evil, are like really going to war with each other. I think something's being created in our minds. You know, that's what I think.
Huh.
So
how important is it to speak your truth then in this time? Do you feel like it's like, nah, it's all division, so let me just keep it with my friends? Particularly in the online space.
Well, lately, I actually haven't been saying much lately.
I know. Why?
Because I just feel like I'm adding, I think it's designed to get us all to pitch in what our side is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I'm just contributing to the fire.
Yeah.
I'm throwing another log on the fire. It's like I don't want to play their game.
Yeah.
Because I really do think that I see people that I know who are like sometimes posting stuff and I'm like, okay, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You're playing into what they want.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's a really tricky one because there are moments, like I said, like during COVID where I had to, I got uncomfortable with myself not saying something. So I guess right now it just feels like a lot of squabbling the last few years.
Yeah.
And then there has been a couple things that have come up that I felt like were big and I almost wanted to say something.
Yeah.
But it's like I just recovered from being canceled.
So do you think there's a part of you that's not speaking because?
Oh yeah, there's a couple issues where I was like
Yeah.
ready to jump in there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, do I really want to risk getting canceled again? Like finally, after a couple of years,
Yeah.
all these people that I never expected have come back to me and said, yeah, I thought you lost your fucking marbles, man, back during COVID. But no, I get it. Like, I see it now. And thanks for saying something. So like now it's like it never happened. If anything, I get like 98% pats on the back, which I don't need pats on the back, but like they're nice.
Appreciated, yeah.
Appreciate it. And I'm like, oh, cool, thanks, man. Like it's inspiring to see more people are like catching on to like some of the madness. So that's cool. But so like if something ever really, 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 really crazy happens again, I'm sure I'll get to the point where I want to say something. But at this point, it just feels like a lot of squabbly goop.
Yeah.
And I don't want to contribute to it. And you can't win. It's like screaming in the wind, you know?
So
like, and it's like, is this where my energy should go? Or should I just continue to be like a light in who I am?
Yeah.
You know, I know it's hard to know.
No, well, I agree.
No.
I think a lot of people are, more motivated to speak up about certain topics than others. And I think it should be that way. I think we should be like, that's worth my energy looking into and going deeper into, and someone else will take this because I'm not actually all that called to it. I think when people try to understand everything about what's going on in the world, like it's humanly impossible to do that because there's so many different areas. We could go into everything from what they're poisoning to the systems on the world. So it's too much.
I feel like our brain was only meant to know what's happening like 2 villages over.
100%. Like, does the neighbor have sugar? I don't know. Let me go check. Not like, I know that the person 6 houses down has only had 2 vaccinations. Therefore, they're not safe until their 3rd. But I know that their appointment is in a week from now. And then I know it takes about X amount of time to get in their system. Then I'll go over for Thanksgiving dinner.
And we're being inundated with stuff from all over the world.
Yeah.
Like we have a preconceived notion of what's happening in every country around the world through the lens of the storyteller.
Well, ideally, because isn't Canada having like a bunch of fucking censorship? I can't see a lot of like Canadian news. Like I have to go hunting for it. But I'm not done yet. I want to go back to this because you said a few different things. You said, well, I just got over being canceled. So I don't know, like but then you're also speaking to the fact that everything is basically squabble. So which one is it? Is it that everything's basically squabble, so even if I felt compelled, I wouldn't do it? Or is there an unconscious or maybe conscious part of you that's like, I don't want to fucking poke the bear, so I'm just not going to poke it. And I'm going to keep my truth to myself, even if I feel compelled to speak into the squabble?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thanks,
and
kid.
I think it would be, you're full of them. I would say that it's when you start to not like yourself inside.
Okay. That's the key for you.
That's when I feel like, okay, I feel really unaligned with like my actions and my thoughts. Like ideally everything, we all have that one friend. They just say whatever they're thinking. It's offensive half the time. Yeah. And those are my favorite people because you always know what they're thinking and where you stand with them, whether you agree or not. It's like, it's the fucking best, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we all, ideally to feel super light. You want to just have that flow of like authenticity, not the buzzword version of authenticity, but like the real raw stuff. So I think when it gets to that point where I feel so unaligned, then I would talk about the next thing. But I'm not into it. Yeah. To jump online or post some stuff on Instagram that's like picking a side just because I want to chirp in like everyone else is chirping in.
Everybody else is like, here's my stance on it. I'm like, I actually don't care about what your stance is, honestly, at all. I just want to know where you fucking real. And the good thing is, I feel like nowadays, it's so easy to tell who's real and who's not. Meaning, I feel like people nowadays, if you just keep talking, I'm going to be able to see the incongruence of behavior. And it doesn't lie. I say nowadays, I can just keep doing my thing and follow my narrow path and be my true self. And people will just show me who they really are. And it's profound how that happens. You're like, oh, thank you, universe, for just like pushing that degenerate out of the way. Like I didn't even see that, but now thank you. And I don't have to do anything, but to your point, like keep my energy light. And I also feel that, I feel like in the state of the world that we're in, at the time that we're in right now, I think it's so important and vital to be mindful of where our energy is going. And I just don't feel personally. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Like, I don't have the same fucking energy I did 5 years ago to fight the good fight. It's like there's so much that's happening in the world, in my own life. So many changes are happening in my own life that with the evolution of this awakening, I'm like, you're lucky if I fucking got 8 hours of sleep. I remembered to drink enough water. I had a bowel movement, and I remembered to smile at my partner today. Like, honestly, like meeting our basic needs feels harder in the time and the climate that we're in than it did 5 years ago. Before it was like, yeah, I'm ready to be a keyboard warrior. Let me speak up for the state of the world. I feel compelled. Now I'm like, yeah, I don't feel compelled.
I think that's by design.
Yeah.
I think that's why whoever's rolling out all this weird stuff,
Yeah.
if you're down the rabbit holes like I am, it just seems like there's it's like the world's a stage. They could just do it all in one swoop, but we'd fight back so hard. So it's slow drip over the course of, decades.
Yeah.
Decades. And so by the time it doesn't get quite bad enough that you're willing to fight because you don't have the energy.
Yeah.
And then the next generation only knows what they know.
True.
They don't know what's changed. And so they're just like into it and they push it, and then they get tired.
Yeah.
and then their kids are like, and it's like they just nudge us inch by inch until we're all living in 50-minute cities.
Yes.
And we have a certain amount of credits to spend.
Yeah.
And if you buy a shirt that's too many credits, well, now you can't have vegetables that week because you've spent your credits. And they're already tying carbon score stuff to certain credit cards now. And like they're doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it
It's like
in plain sight, basically.
in plain sight.
Yeah.
But under the guise of this is a good thing.
Yes.
It's so genius. So
It
you're
is
rooting
so
for
smart
it.
marketing.
You're having like environmental like parades with all the school kids. So they are just into it. And so they don't see that that's being used. Yes, of course I love the environment. Of course. When I see someone throw something down in a forest, I get so pissed off. Like, come on, man. I love the environment. Like, but it's being used.
Yeah.
So what they do is they take such noble, heart-led causes and hijack them, turn it into power.
Yeah.
So suddenly, well, in the name of the environment,
Yeah.
you cannot buy this product anymore.
Yeah.
Or, and it's you'll see it starting to happen where we have my kids will probably grow up knowing what their carbon score is and how much they have left at the end of the month.
Crazy.
Yeah. Now, if they did that to us during COVID, we'd be like, whoa. We see through what's going on here.
One propaganda.
But now I'm tired. Son, good luck. Spend those credits wisely. I'll be on the couch. I'll be in my oxygen tube tank, hopefully. Staying young forever.
Oh, it's so funny that you speak to that because Hayden has a crazy amount of knowledge about just the invisible rainbow, basically all of the invisible lines of energy that run through this planet that are fucking destroying our health. And he was laughing about this environmentalist in our neighborhood, and she drives a Tesla, and he was like, does she know that she's driving inside of a microwave? Because that would change things. She's thinking she's being environmentally friendly, but inside of this Tesla, it's basically like she is microwaving herself and she doesn't realize it. But that's the entire premise of the mainstream narrative. Even like, have you heard of like the pot theory with the frog? It's like if you turn it up all the way super, super hot, it'll jump out. But if you just turn it up a little bit by little bit, the frog will just ultimately fall to its demise and die and not even realize that it was in boiling water. Mm-hmm. Like I think that the mainstream is always going to try to turn it up. And every single time we're like, that's fucking hot. I'm out. Wait, I was in a pot. Like more and more people are going to do that. But I wonder, now that we get it. We understand the mainstream game. What about some of our own individual truths? Because I'm very vocal about my individual truths, and I find that they're quite narrow and they're disruptive to maybe an industry or a concept or a way of awakening up until this point. Do you have individual truths that are maybe like pressing on your heart that you haven't spoke up about or you would like to speak up about, whether it be about self-expression or something other?
Well, I'm like the ultimate curious guy. So like, hence the podcast and interviewing people like you.
Yeah.
That's why it was fun having you on, because you have a very strong stance on things you believe. And like, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And then I go to the next person. I hear they have strong opinions about something. And so I'm just always absorbing all this different, like just almost like a student of people's opinions.
Yeah.
And piecing it all together. Because as soon as I think I have it all figured out.
Are you a Gemini?
No, I'm a Virgo.
Oh. Happy birthday.
Why does everyone make that face when I say Virgo?
No, I like Virgos.
Oh.
Happy birthday.
Put that in slow motion if you can. Her face. She went like this.
Oh, I know my freaking editor always will. Because I make the weirdest faces. Dude.
I don't know. Whenever I tell women I'm a Virgo, they seem disappointed.
Oh, I'm not
they
disappointed.
want me to say like Leo or something that sounds cooler. I don't know a lot about astrology. I just know Virgo doesn't sound like the coolest. I don't know. Virgo sounds like virgin, or it sounds like I'm a Virgo.
Aquarius.
Yeah, I'm a Virgo.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
I don't really know what that means or whether you're being sarcastic or not. But that's fine.
Just because of your curious mind and this part of you that desires to learn from multiple perspectives. That's why I thought maybe you'd be a little bit more on that air sign.
I mean, every time I think I have it all figured out, like I get someone else who's like gone down a rabbit hole I haven't gone down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm constantly like learning and like putting the one thing I really do know about for myself is like we live in like a matrix. Yeah. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Yeah. This is all like a video game. Mm-hmm. I saw that during my one and only DMT trip. And I was like, I'm in a supercomputer. Like, what's going on here? And like, I'm like, okay, God exists. Like there's some kind of God or architect who has designed this because this is not what we're taught in school, like what I saw. So yeah, I think we are all energy. Or energy is contagious. You can feel it when you walk in a room. Yeah. You walk in, you're like, ooh, what happened in here? Or someone just have a fight, or like, we can feel it. Yeah. Like we all know what that's like. So yeah, I would say that, but what that is, who created it, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm always just getting, there's parts of me that go down to more of a traditional God sense. But then you see all the dogma and the way it's been changed by humans and switched and changed thousands of years ago, and now things are misinterpreted. And so it's like, I don't know what the ultimate truth is. Yeah. But because I'm so curious, it bugs the shit out of me. I know. That I don't just know.
Does any of us, though? Do any of us actually ultimately know, even those that are psychics and astrologers and, have connections?
Some people really think that they do.
Well,
and the more confident they are, the more I want to believe them.
I know, but what it looks like versus what it is are different things.
Like when I studied, I interviewed a remote viewer. Cool. And I was like, okay, so you can lay down, you can have your consciousness leave your body, and you can go to anywhere in space and time, even though time doesn't officially exist, I think, but you can go to any consciousness point in the universe. Yeah. You can go to Mars 1,000 years ago. He's like, yeah, I've done that. He worked for one of the big, the governments are always, they have their secret. So like that blew my mind. Yeah. And then I started reading about remote viewing and all that. So I'm like, okay, we are spirits. Yeah. I think there is obviously there is a truth. Everyone just seems to have their own modality and how to tap into it. Yeah. And they get a slightly different version of it, but it's all kind of leaning back to the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that is the point. Is maybe that all paths lead home, and home is the divine. And we just all have maybe a different definition of what this omnipresent creator is. And then we'll probably die and go, oh, why did I spend so much time trying to figure out who the fuck the creator is? I would always know who it was when I passed or when I came back to source consciousness. Like, why did I spend so much time stressing over what is the point and who is the creator? Maybe it's just like, namaste, let me play Lego with my son all day. Maybe
it's a good
really
point.
Just like, cares? I always ask myself that. Like, I love being psychic. I love doing this work. I love helping people. But I also I'm not looking to stress my life out by trying to get to the point. Because then if I get to the point, then I know, to your point, there's going to be another point. So it's like, well, what the fuck's the point then? If the point just keeps getting, now there's another point to that. Oh, I didn't think about that. It's like money. You get to a certain level, you're like, yay. And then they're like, but now I want this much. And then you're like, oh, well, if it's just this simulation and we're constantly, that was the divine, but now there's this and now there's this. And maybe it's just like, who cares?
We all want to be soothed a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Like when I was going to that psychic regularly for like a year.
I'm so upset with it.
And she was cool. She said some stuff. Again, I don't know who was. I feel like maybe I got a little bit of bad advice. Okay, maybe a couple things that maybe I shouldn't have.
Starts good, and then you realize you were getting groomed, and then it gets way worse.
Oh, this was maybe I shouldn't have done that. But then I look at where I ended up, and I go, okay, well, maybe that was part of the plan. Yeah. And we will always justify anything in our minds, like especially when they're in a spiritual community. It's like, I was meant to have that terrible experience, or like, dude, that I was meant to say that very stupid thing because it got me to where I am.
Because it was their mirror and it helped them move forward on their life
it's
path.
like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh man. So I really don't know.
That's a good thing. I do think we're looking for it.
Waking up can feel like your whole world is turned upside down, and there's no one there to catch you. What?
And so you ask yourself, who am I? What's my purpose? What are my gifts? And years later, you're still asking yourself the same questions. Cue the Sovereign Healer, the only psychic development and energy healing sovereign development school that'll help you understand your unique abilities without leaving your meditation cushion. Let's get it.
I think that I think what I was trying to say was I ended up getting sort of addicted to going to see the psychic because I didn't want to make any major life decisions without checking in with my psychic, because I got a psychic. I could have, hey babe, what's up? Yes or no, buy or sell, what do I do? Like I would check in, and I would be actually got myself a little bit like, I can't make it, I can't pull the trigger on this until I just check it and see if she says like, yeah, this person's cool to work with or not cool to work with. Yeah. And I think it's very disempowering. You just give up all your power.
Yeah, because you already probably knew the answer, I assume.
Yeah, probably.
Like deep down, if you would have just been like, let me just, what feels right, you probably would have had it.
But you think it's so cool. Got a psychic who seems to like know everything.
It's cool.
And you go, if you can save me like 6 months going down a business with someone, and you told me that maybe it's a bad idea. Like, she did tell me not to move into a house one time because it was built on a burial ground.
Okay, that's good.
And we were like in love with this place. Huh. And she said, if you move into that place, your kids are going to wake up in the middle of the night, go for a pee, and they're going to see like an entity like standing in the hallway. And I went, okay, you can't. How can you move into that place now?
You can't.
Whether she's right or wrong. So like those experiences, I was kind of hooked. Like she could potentially make my life easier or my kids' life easier with a little bit of knowledge to go left or right. We all want to outsource our intuition, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to keep growing in the world, unfortunately. But I also think simultaneous to that, I think more people are connecting with their intuition, their authenticity, their sense of, this is my truth. And here, I'm also open to hearing your truth, but I'm still pretty solid on my truth. And you having your truth means nothing about my relationship, my love, my respect for you. But then I think the flip side is that we're seeing in the world right now, in the mainstream world, just so much more outsourcing to someone's power, to their autonomy, to their inner guidance, right? People are using ChatGPT. A lot of people, at least in my neck of the woods, are talking about how they use it to channel their spirit guides, how their spirit guides channel through the technology. It's not true.
Wow.
It can't do that because it's a low vibrational force of energy. So your divine guides don't need to fucking use ChatGPT to channel through the information through the platform because it's a lower vibrational force of energy. Anyways, I digress. I think that having that connection to your individual truth, no matter the cost, personally, I think is always worth it unless I'm going to get killed before the end of my soul contract. I think that's my fine line. It's like, I don't want to die prematurely because I spoke too much truth. I think that's my only line. I want to fulfill my mission. I want to live however long I'm meant to, but I don't want to get fucking killed in the middle of a pep rally when I was supposed to have maybe in my soul contract another 50 years. And some people could debate me on that, I'm sure, but I think that there are premature endings of soul contracts due to people being visible and vocal in their truth. And that would be my fine line. So what's your fine line?
Well, I don't know much about soul contracts or anything like that, but I'll sign up for the don't be killed thing that you just said. Whatever that was, I'll do that.
I'll have what she's having.
I'll just do that. What's my line in the sand?
Yeah. Just speaking your truth.
Oh, it's weird because you look back at like, World War II. And like when I was in high school, I did like a big project in World War II, and I just became fascinated with how that all happened.
Yeah.
Like how, a small group of people were able to turn the masses into a singular way to think, and like the horrific things that like you go, doesn't even seem real.
Yeah.
But then you start to see like during the COVID times, some of the messaging and the, brainwashing and I have some friends who grew up in like, Eastern Europe, like back in the day, and they're like, this is the exact same stuff.
Yeah.
that they did 30 years ago before we moved to Canada. And like, so we can see it,
Yeah.
but you guys can't because we've been so spoiled
Yeah.
in Canada. But they could see it. Like they're like the commercials for the, you know, all that stuff, you know. So what's the line in the sand? I guess it's just when it gets to the point when you feel like history is making another step
Good point.
towards that, like how we
Yeah.
felt during COVID.
Yeah.
Like now it's calm.
Yeah.
There's stuff happening.
Yeah.
But when it gets really aggressive, the powers that be at least need to feel the pushback, you know? And I almost feel like bad for not saying something to someone who's just oblivious.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on a second. Like, okay, listen to my show for years and years. We have a relationship
Yeah.
that's been built. Like, maybe you think I'm crazy, but like, I have close friends of mine who will tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Kid, you're getting chubby. And I go, what? Have you been going to the gym? I go, well, it's not a lot lately. It's like, you're kind of like, who are you, man? I haven't seen you in 6 months. Like, we're supposed to like hang out and have a good time. Have a drink, whatever. Like, but those friends are the ones you value the most.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, you're damn right. And men and women are motivated in different ways. I would just think that you should go up to your girlfriend and tell her that she's looking chubby. Men are motivated by like a nudge, you know? And I started going back to the gym. Like, dude, 2 weeks later, thanks again for telling me I was chubby. He's laughing. But he's one of those guys, no filter.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need those people around you. Like,
do.
if they're good friends, they're not just going to be yes people who tell you, you know, what you want to hear. So I think that I kind of feel like that with the relationship I built with people who've listened to me for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we've talked about every topic under the rainbow, everything. I've shared first date stories with you. I've all sorts of things. The birth of my kids with you. What it's like becoming a dad. All the cool stuff that humans can bond over. So yeah, guess what? I'm going to have to tell you right now that signing your kid up for like a squeeze of juice to get a free donut is not what you think it is. Maybe just look into it.
Yep.
You know? So I don't know where that line is. I guess it's with donuts. It's with donuts.
When
Free
you get
donuts for
bribed-
medication.
When you get bribed,
Bribery.
yes,
That's the line. There. You're
Yeah.
right. Thank you. I was looking for the word.
I love that. And I think that this is a fantastic way to close out what I think was a really valuable episode. I think we were able to highlight so many different parts of your journey, your perspectives, but also, like, I think what's so important is that this mainstream world that we're a part of, it is always going to have this like bait and hook kind of energy. Hopefully, before we die, we see that disintegrate. That's a goal for me. I would love to watch more benevolent systems come on this planet, but it's not happening tomorrow. So we have to learn what is the battle to fight and also what is worth it. And what I gather from your message here is that maybe you would have done things a little bit differently, but you still couldn't live with the part of you that knew you had a truth that you couldn't continue to sacrifice any longer. And that's maybe what we all need to listen, honor, and give rise to, and then everything else is just bullshit.
Yeah. You said it. That's exactly it.
Good.
Stay light.
Stay
Stay
light.
light.
Let the stream flow, everybody. You
right.
heard it from the Kid Carson.
Call now to win $500
And a pizza.
and a pizza.
Yeah.
A slice.
Just one slice
Yeah, yeah.
for now $17.99 in today's economy. So thanks, Kid, for being on the
you.
pod. I'm curious, I'll leave everybody with the question of what is the cost of living in your truth? And is that cost worth it? Okay, then. See you again soon.